Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman was the first Democratic senator to visit Mar-a-Lago, and he says he's committed to working alongside Republicans, but can he find a middle ground with an administration that has spent the first week in power destroying Democratic Party policies, and let's say he's a little shaky with democracy. I believe it's only been a week since the former president has retaken office. You were there at inauguration. He's been attempting to flex his power. But are you surprised by anything? I didn't even see what that was.
He's wearing a similar outfit at the inauguration, and you looked great.
I totally feel you.
It's not every day you see a U.S. senator walk straight into the lion's den of a talk show. But John Fetterman, he didn't just show up, he came ready. On TheView, a show famous for its heated debates, Fetterman tackled everything from January 6 to his meetings with Republicans and even whispers that he's shifting to the right. Love him or hate him, the guy doesn't dodge a tough question. People are talking. Some say he's shaking up the status quo in all the right ways. Others are calling him out for mingling with Trump's circle and joining Truth Social. Fetterman's recent moves have sparked debate. Some see him as a bridge builder, while others call it betrayal. So why does this matter? Because in a political climate that's all about picking sides, Fetterman is standing in the middle, taking hits from both ends. And when the host pressed him, he didn't shy away. He addressed the January 6 chaos, stood firm on his democratic values, and made it clear where he draws the line. What's really going on with Fetterman? Is he playing a smarter game, or is this a gamble he can't win? Let's dig into what he had to say.
Okay, I get you. So, but are you surprised at anything you've been seeing, or do you anticipate that there's going to be changes that we should be prepped for that we're not thinking about?
I mean, honestly, I haven't been surprised by anything now. I mean, he's been doing essentially what he actually campaigned on that. He announced he is going to pardon the J6 individuals. He is going to absolutely go after the border. So there's a lot of things that he's already ran on. I mean, criticized a lot of it, and I don't agree with everything either, but it's undeniable he actually ran on that and been really upfront.
On January 6, 2021, former D.C. police officer Michael Fennan almost lost his life while defending the Capitol. Beaten, tasered, and left with a heart attack. Fennan's survival is a grim reminder of the violence that day. Now, he's one of the loudest voices opposing any pardons for the rioters who attacked him and his fellow officers. His words carry the weight of someone who's lived through the chaos firsthand. All these people that said they had our backs ran for the hills, Fennan recently said, expressing his frustration with political leaders who turned their backs on justice. When John Fetterman was asked about Fennan's remarks, he didn't hold back. He began with empathy, acknowledging the officers' pain and trauma. "I've had a stroke, I get it," he said, connecting their health battles to the lasting impact of that day. But he went further, condemning the insurrection in no uncertain terms. For Fetterman, the idea of pardoning the rioters isn't just unacceptable, it's an insult to democracy itself. Fetterman made it clear his stance on January 6 attackers is non-negotiable.
Early on, immediately after the election, I was like, hey, we have a choice. We can freak out and follow every other thing around, like a cat, with a laser, after everyone. But I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be that Democrat. For me, there's things I'm going to agree with, I'm going to disagree with, but I'm in the business of finding wins for Pennsylvania and for the nation, and engaging the president. I see that as doing my job.
In a time when some are eager to move on, he's standing firm, refusing to let those responsible escape accountability. Lately, John Fetterman has been catching heat from the left. Critics point to his decision to join Truth Social, the Trump-backed platform, and his visit to Mar-a-Lago for meetings with Republican leaders as signs of a political shift. Some even question his loyalty to the Democratic Party. Add to that his positions on hot-button issues like immigration and fracking, and you've got people wondering if Fetterman is leaning right. But Fetterman isn't backing down. When confronted about these accusations, he laid it out plain and simple: he hasn't changed. He emphasized his unwavering commitment to core democratic values. He's pro-choice, staunchly supports LGBTQ+ rights, and believes in a strong, fair immigration system. For Fetterman, these principles are non-negotiable. As for the Mar-a-Lago meetings,
Well said. And I wanted to ask ask you, so you went down to Mar-a-Lago and met with the president, and he actually was singing your praises after. He said you were fascinating, impressive, a common sense person. I agree with him on that. Not a liberal or a conservative. I'm curious what your takeaway was from meeting with him, and what, if you found that there's any specific policy areas you think you can work with him on.
Yeah, well, I think overall it was a positive experience. I mean, he was kind, he was cordial. It wasn't in any kind of theater. It wasn't trying to get your picture taken to kind of put something out on social media. It was just really a conversation. I actually spoke for over an hour.
His votes and actions reflect his progressive stance. While critics may question his moves, Fetterman's message is clear. Bridging gaps doesn't mean switching sides. John Fetterman's voting record has raised eyebrows on both sides of the aisle. Recently, he stood with fellow Democrats in rejecting Pete Hegseth's nomination for Defense Secretary, citing concerns over his qualifications. But when it came to candidates like Kristi Noem and Marco Rubio, Fetterman voted yes, highlighting his willingness to cross party lines when he believes nominees are fit for their roles. This approach, rooted in evaluating individuals over partisan labels, has both earned him respect and drawn criticism. Looking ahead, Fetterman is preparing for hearings on two of the most polarizing nominees. Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. Critics have speculated about his stance, but Fetterman has made it clear he won't decide until after hearing from them directly. For him, this isn't about playing politics, it's about maintaining an open mind. He believes conversations, even with controversial figures, are crucial for making informed decisions. I don't regret talking to anyone, Fetterman said, defending his approach. Whether it's Rubio or RFK Jr., he's committed to hearing them out before casting his vote. His actions signal a shift away from blind.
You did get a lot of criticism for it from some people who thought you going to Mar-a-Lago gives cover to Trump by creating the solution that he's amenable to working with Democrats. I was very supportive of when people like Mitt Romney and Rob Portman worked with Joe Biden, so I understand the need for bipartisanship. I didn't love the optics of you going to Mar-a-Lago. He was going to, which is his palace. He was going to be in Washington a week later. But what was your goal, and do you feel ultimately you were successful?
Well, here's what happened. I was being lazy on the couch like Friday night, and my team reached out saying, hey, and I don't know if this is like a trolling or a hoax, but they extended an invitation.
John Fetterman has made one thing clear. He's not afraid to talk to anyone. Whether it's sitting down with Republican leaders or controversial figures, Fetterman believes that open dialogue is essential to making informed decisions. For him, it's not about agreeing with everyone in the room. It's about hearing their perspectives and challenging his own assumptions. You can't make real progress by shutting the door on half the country, he said. These conversations, he claims, have been eye-opening. Engaging with opponents has helped him better understand the issues at stake, and he insists that it's not about ideological compromise, it's about finding solutions. Fetterman sees value in this approach, especially in today's deeply divided political landscape. But not everyone is convinced. Critics argue that these meetings give the impression of ideological drift, fueling speculation about his commitment to democratic principles. Fetterman pushes back on these claims, insisting that transparency and fairness are at the heart of his decisions. I haven't changed my values, and I'm not going to, he says. Instead, he argues that talking with those who disagree isn't a weakness, it's a strength. Fetterman's stance challenges the notion that bipartisanship is betrayal, sparking debate about what true leadership looks like.
And overall, my wife was there, and she might be watching right now at home. Hi, Giselle, you're home. And she was there as well, too, and we just had a conversation. And one of the things, can we agree on? Well, one of the things that was easy, like the Dreamers. You know, the Dreamers, immigration, that. And Giselle was part of that community, and we both had the opportunity to express that. You know, I would also, you know, I'm on the Ag Committee, and I think protecting the SNAP as well, too. Food insecurity is really important issue. And some people on that side wants to go after that or weaponize that. So for me, those are kind of issues. Other things that we can agree on as well. But overall, it was just a straight up conversation, and I just have a rule. Like, I'm going to engage and have a conversation that's anyone playing it straight, and that's be doing my job again.
Again, to some, his outreach to Republicans and independent thinking on appointments signal a refreshing pragmatism. These supporters see him as a bridge builder, someone willing to prioritize solutions over party loyalty. They argue that his willingness to engage across the aisle is what's needed to break through the political gridlock. But not everyone is impressed. Critics, particularly from within his own party, have accused him of straying too far from core Democratic values. Joining Truth Social and meeting with Republicans at Mar-a-Lago have drawn sharp criticism, with some questioning his loyalty to progressive ideals. Among more vocal detractors, there's even speculation that Fetterman's approach could weaken his standing as a Democratic leader. The big question is, how will these actions impact Fetterman's political future? Will his independent streak earn him respect as a leader who values principle over partisanship, or will it alienate progressive supporters who see his actions as a betrayal? Fetterman's choices have put him in a delicate position, one that could redefine how he's viewed both within his party and by the voters who put him in office. John Fetterman left no room for doubt about his party loyalty during his appearance. Despite facing criticism from both sides, he firmly stated he has no intention of switching to the Republican Party. "I'd make a terrible Republican," he joked, pointing to his progressive stances on issues like pro-choice policies, LGBTQ rights, and immigration. These values, he emphasized, remain central to who he is and what he stands for. Fetterman also pushed back against the narrative that his recent decisions signal a rightward shift. He urged critics to focus on his voting record, which he says reflects a steadfast commitment to democratic principles. His decisions, he explained, aren't about pandering or compromise, they're about doing what he believes is right for the country. To those questioning his strategy, Fetterman's message was clear: judge him by his actions, not by speculation or headlines. He argued that his consistent support for progressive policies speaks louder than any rumors or misunderstandings. By the end of his appearance, Fetterman made one thing undeniable: his not wavering in his beliefs, and his not afraid to face criticism if it means staying true to himself. John Fetterman addressed claims of a political shift, reaffirming his loyalty to democratic values like pro-choice policies, LGBTQ rights, and strong immigration laws. He urged critics to judge him by his voting record, not speculation. His focus on bipartisan engagement emphasized the need for open dialogue in today's divided political climate. Fetterman's approach challenges traditional party lines, sparking debate on what leadership should look like in modern politics. Is he a bold leader or taking a risky path? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to share this video to keep the conversation alive.